Once a beloved British sitcom that brought laughter from the holiday camp at Maplins, High to High remains a nostalgic treasure for fans across generations. But what became of the stars who made the show so iconic? Over 4 decades later, some actors have sadly passed on, leaving behind unforgettable performances. Others continued their careers or stepped away from the spotlight to lead quieter lives. In this special look back, we'll explore where the cast members are today, celebrate their contributions to television history, and honor those we've lost. You might be surprised to see how much or how little they've changed. Felix Boness portrayed Fred Quilly in High to High, beginning in 1980 when he was 58 years old. Fred Quilly is the world-weary riding instructor at Maplin's holiday camp, a former show-jumping star fallen on hard times. His gruff demeanor, sarcastic wit, and obvious disdain for the holiday camp environment make him both comic and tragic. Constantly lamenting his lost glory and dodging overly eager campers, Fred is a man clinging to fragments of a past life filled with accolades and prestige. Yet despite his bitterness, he occasionally reveals warmth and camaraderie, especially when least expected. His story adds a touch of faded grandeur to the otherwise chaotic camp atmosphere. In real life, Felix Boness began as a stand-up comic and became a popular television presence through his work on High to High and beyond. He was also a war veteran who survived the Normandy landings. He passed away on September 13, 2009, at the age of 87, after suffering from Alzheimer's disease and experiencing a series of strokes, which ultimately led to his death. Sue Pollard portrayed Peggy Ollerenshaw in High to High, beginning in 1980 when she was 31 years old. Peggy Ollerenshaw is the ever-hopeful chalet maid whose greatest ambition is to become a yellowcoat. Clad in bright uniforms and giant glasses, she buzzes around the camp full of energy, optimism, and comic timing. Her loyalty to the camp is unwavering, even as others dismiss her as silly or overzealous. Peggy often finds herself in ridiculous situations, but always bounces back with infectious enthusiasm and kindness. Her innocence, heart, and persistence made her one of the most endearing characters of the show. In real life, Sue Pollard became a household name thanks to High to High and continued her success in sitcoms, pantomime, and voice acting. Her eccentric charm and talent have kept her in the spotlight for decades. As of 2025, Sue Pollard is 75 years old and remains active in the entertainment industry. Diane Holland portrayed Yvonne Stewart Hargreaves in High to High, beginning in 1980 when she was 50 years old. Yvonne Stewart Hargreaves is the proud, aloof ballroom dance instructor who brings a sense of refinement and elitism to Maplins. Alongside her husband Barry, she upholds strict standards in both dance and decorum. Yvonne's clipped accent, disdainful looks, and love for tradition often put her at odds with the more relaxed and chaotic environment around her. Yet beneath the surface lies a woman clinging to dignity and identity in a setting she finds increasingly beneath her. Her polished exterior masks insecurity and an aging performer's fear of being forgotten. In real life, Diane Holland was a trained dancer and stage actress whose role as Yvonne made her a recognizable figure in British television. Though she rarely sought fame, she was deeply respected for her talent and professionalism. She passed away on January 24, 2009, at the age of 78, after a long battle with bronchial pneumonia, which ultimately caused her death. Ruth Madoc portrayed Gladys Pugh in High to High beginning in 1980 when she was 37 years old. Gladys Pugh is the poised and authoritative chief yellowcoat at Maplin's holiday camp, known for her crisp uniforms, Welsh accent, and impeccable dedication. Proud of her position and deeply committed to the camp's traditions, she often announces daily schedules over the loudspeaker with a signature sing-song tone. Though she maintains a strict, no-nonsense exterior, Gladys harbors deep romantic feelings for the camp's entertainment manager, Jeffrey Fairbrother, feelings she struggles to suppress. This longing often leaves her caught between ambition and vulnerability. She is a symbol of restrained passion, decorum, and quiet heartbreak, balancing duty with desire. In real life, Ruth Madoc was a versatile actress whose career spanned stage, television, and film. She was widely loved for her comic timing and ability to bring emotional nuance to her roles. She passed away on December 9, 2022, at the age of 79, following surgery after a fall. Paul Shane portrayed Ted Bovis in High to High, beginning in 1980, when he was 40 years old. Ted Bovis is the camp's resident comic and self-appointed king of the entertainment circuit at Maplins holiday camp. A flashy, fast-talking wheeler dealer with a fondness for bending the rules, Ted is always on the lookout for the next money-making scheme. Whether he's flogging dodgy raffle tickets or trying to outwit his fellow staff members, his antics often land him in hot water. Yet beneath the bravado and cheap suits is a man who desperately wants to be admired, both by his audience and his peers. His relationship with his comic sidekick, Spike, is complex, part mentorship, part exploitation, but at times, genuinely affectionate. Ted's loud humor and relentless optimism became a defining part of the series' charm. In real life, Paul Shane transitioned from coal miner to cabaret singer before becoming a celebrated comedic actor. He was a mainstay of British sitcoms throughout the 1980s and 1990s. He passed away on May 16, 2013, at the age of 72, after a short illness. David Griffin portrayed squadron leader Clive Dempster DFC in Hi-de-Hi, beginning in 1984, when he was 41 years old. Clive Dempster is a posh ex-RAF officer brought in as the new entertainment manager at Maplins holiday camp. With his clipped accent, polished manners, and military pride, he represents a stark contrast to the more chaotic and working-class atmosphere of the camp. Although he initially seems out of place, Clive gradually becomes a charming and respectable figure among the staff. He brings a sense of structure and quiet dignity to the role, while occasionally being drawn into absurd holiday camp hijinks. His war hero past lends him gravitas, but he's not immune to romantic entanglements or comic misadventures. In real life, David Griffin is also known for playing Emmett in Keeping Up Appearances. He built a long television career in British sitcoms and theater. As of 2025, David Griffin is 82 years old. Nikki Kelly portrayed Sylvia Garnsey in Hi-de-Hi beginning in 1980, when she was 28 years old. Sylvia Garnsey is one of the glamorous yellowcoats at Maplins, known for her good looks, confidence, and flirtatious charm. With her styled blonde hair, striking makeup, and brash personality, she quickly establishes herself as a camp favorite among both staff and guests. Sylvia is streetwise and assertive, often navigating the attention of male colleagues with a mix of wit and sharp retorts. Though her primary concern is having fun and looking fabulous, she occasionally shows signs of deeper ambition and a longing for something more beyond camp life. Her presence adds a glamorous and cheeky sparkle to the camp's roster of eccentric personalities. In real life, Nikki Kelly was best known for her role in Hi-de-Hi, but also appeared in various stage and television roles across the UK. Her performance as Sylvia became one of the most iconic parts of the series. As of 2025, Nikki Kelly is 73 years old. Jeffrey Holland portrayed Spike Dixon in Hi-de-Hi beginning in 1980 when he was 34 years old. Spike Dixon is the lovable and eager camp comic who dreams of making it big in show business. Dressed in clown suits and silly costumes, Spike throws himself into every routine, no matter how absurd, with infectious enthusiasm. Often used and underappreciated by his partner Ted Bovis, he remains ever loyal and optimistic, convinced that fame is just around the corner. His good-hearted nature and willingness to laugh at himself make him a favorite among campers and viewers alike. Spike embodies the innocence of a performer who believes in the magic of laughter, even when the spotlight doesn't always shine his way. In real life, Jeffrey Holland became a household name thanks to High to High, and continued his successful television career in other Perry and Croft sitcoms like You Rang, My Lord, and Oh, Dr. Beeching. He is also active in theater and continues to perform on stage. As of 2025, Jeffrey Holland is 79 years old. Brenda Cowling portrayed a lady camper in High to High in 1984, when she was 59 years old. The lady camper is a brief but amusing presence in the world of Maplins, one of the posh, slightly bewildered guests, often caught in the chaotic undertow of the staff's antics. Brenda Cowling brought grace and comic flair to the role, playing an upper-class holidaymaker with charm and subtle satire. Though a small part, it reflected her ability to elevate minor roles into memorable moments through voice, expression, and timing. In real life, Brenda Cowling was a seasoned character actress who appeared in numerous British comedies, including Allo, Allo, Are You Being Served? And The Pink Panther Strikes Again. Known for playing nurses, landladies, and elderly aristocrats, she had a rich theatrical background and trained at RADA. She passed away on October 2, 2010, at the age of 85, due to natural causes following several years of frailty and health decline. Linda Reagan portrayed April in High to High, beginning in 1984, when she was 35 years old. April is one of the bubbly, youthful yellowcoats brought in during the later seasons of the show. Vivacious, energetic, and eager to impress, April is often seen participating in the camp's entertainment routines, talent shows, and group activities. She adds a fresh burst of energy to the cast and contributes to the chaotic charm of Maplin's life. Though she's not always at the center of the action, her presence helps reflect the camp's changing dynamics and evolving sense of entertainment. April represents the hopeful and ambitious younger generation trying to make their mark in a noisy, competitive world. In real life, Linda Reagan is an actress and author who continued working in British television and theater, and she is also the wife of actor Brian Murphy. She has spoken publicly about surviving serious illness and has published several crime novels. As of 2025, Linda Reagan is 75 years old. Ronnie Brody portrayed the plumber in High to High in 1981, when he was 62 years old. The plumber is a minor but memorable character at Maplins, representing the everyday, behind-the-scenes workers who keep the holiday camp running, often overlooked, yet essential. Though his screen time was limited, Ronnie Brody brought comic timing and expressive physicality to the role, typical of the working-class tradesmen who often clashed humorously with the camp's more polished entertainers. His down-to-earth presence and gruff exterior added texture to the colorful Maplin world. In real life, Ronnie Brody was a prolific character actor whose face was familiar across British film and television. He appeared in comedy staples such as Are You Being Served?, The Benny Hill Show, and even in international productions like Superman 3. He had a career spanning decades, often playing working-class or military types. He passed away on May 8, 1991, at the age of 72. The cause of death was not widely publicized, but it followed a period of declining health. John Horesley portrayed Clive in High to High in 1982, when he was 62 years old. Clive is a minor but memorable character at Maplins, one of the camp's older, possibly retired guests, who finds himself surrounded by youthful energy and comedic mishaps. John Horesley brought a calm and seasoned presence to the role, conveying dignity with just a few lines or glances. His character represents the older generation observing, and often quietly judging, the zaniness of the holiday camp. In real life, John Horesley had a long and steady career in British film and television, with appearances in The Fall and Rise of Reginald Perrin, Rumpole of the Bailey, and numerous stage productions. His understated acting and mature screen presence made him a reliable figure in both comedies and dramas. He passed away on January 12, 2014, at the age of 93 due to natural causes, following a long life and a peaceful retirement from acting, John Lamesier portrayed Hugo Buxton in Hi-de-Hi in 1982 when he was 70 years old. Hugo Buxton appears as a distinguished guest whose old-world charm and aristocratic air contrast sharply with the often chaotic atmosphere of Maplins holiday camp. Played with elegant understatement by John Lamesier, Hugo brings a sense of faded nobility, blending dry wit with subtle melancholy. His presence offers a glimpse into a class and lifestyle slipping quietly into history. Though a brief role, Lamesier imbued Hugo with warmth and quiet dignity, hallmarks of his acting style. In real life, John Lamesier was one of Britain's most beloved character actors, best known for playing the gentle Sergeant Wilson in Dad's Army. His soft-spoken voice, world-weary manner, and mastery of understatement made him a staple of British comedy and drama for decades. He struggled with alcoholism and declining health in his later years. He passed away on November 15, 1983, at the age of 71, from cirrhosis of the liver, after years of alcohol-related illness. Roy Heather portrayed Inspector Palmer in Hi-de-Hi in 1981 when he was 46 years old. Inspector Palmer appears briefly as an authority figure within the Maplins setting, a representative of the outside world who brings a dose of order or interruption to the often unruly camp staff. Roy Heather gave the role a deadpan quality, presenting Palmer as dutiful, perhaps slightly bemused by the eccentricity around him. Though a small part, it highlighted Heather's talent for delivering straight-faced humor amidst absurdity. In real life, Roy Heather was best known for playing Sid the cafe owner in Only Fools and Horses, but he also had a long career in theater and television. He often portrayed working-class figures with warmth and subtle irony. He passed away on September 3, 2014, at the age of 79, following a long illness. The cause of death was complications related to pulmonary disease. Sorrel Johnson portrayed Mary, the WRAF officer, in Hi-de-Hi in 1986, when she was 25 years old. Mary, the WRAF officer, appears during a special occasion at Maplins, representing discipline, dignity, and a military precision that stands in contrast to the camp's often chaotic entertainment routines. With her clipped tone, smart uniform, and commanding presence, Mary symbolizes post-war British pride and service. Sorrel Johnson gave the character a composed, no-nonsense aura that brought an amusing tension to scenes filled with mischief and absurdity. Her role, while brief, provided a refreshing foil to the usual slapstick humor, highlighting the show's clever class and institutional contrasts. In real life, Sorrel Johnson built a career through guest appearances in British television throughout the 1980s and 1990s. She often portrayed professional or authoritative women, and her sharp screen presence lent itself well to both comedic and dramatic roles. While never a household name, she was a respected figure within British acting circles. As of 2025, Sorrel Johnson is 64 years old. Lenny Harper portrayed Girl in Hi-de-Hi in 1982 when she was 28 years old. The character, simply credited as Girl, was a small but lively part in Hi-de-Hi, typical of the background roles that helped bring the bustling holiday camp to life. Though brief, Lenny Harper's appearance contributed to the youthful, energetic atmosphere of Maplins, and she played the part with the enthusiasm expected of a holiday camper or staff member. Even in minor roles, the show's comedic tone relied on performers like Harper to maintain momentum and realism. In real life, Lenny Harper went on to appear in a variety of television series and children's programming throughout the 1980s and 1990s, including roles in T-Bag, Mike and Angelo, and My Parents Are Aliens. Her versatility and expressive style made her a familiar face to UK audiences. As of 2025, Lenny Harper is 71 years old. Ballard Berkeley portrayed the gentleman in Hi-de-Hi in 1983 when he was 79 years old. The gentleman is a quiet, distinguished figure among the holiday makers at Maplins, portrayed with subtle comedic charm by Ballard Berkeley. Though the role is small, his presence instantly evokes an older generation, polite, reserved, and quietly bewildered by the youthful chaos around him. Dressed in traditional attire and exuding a military air, he observes the camp's goings-on with restrained bemusement. Berkeley's ability to deliver dry humor with impeccable timing added richness to the scene and highlighted the contrast between the fading aristocratic class and the rising post-war leisure culture. In real life, Ballard Berkeley had a long and respected career in British theater, radio, and television. He is best known for his iconic portrayal of Major Gowan in Fawlty Towers, where his confused ramblings and upper-class eccentricities became legendary. He also appeared in dramas and comedies dating back to the 1930s. He passed away on January 16, 1988, at the age of 83 after suffering a stroke, and died peacefully in his sleep. Gianne Mockford portrayed Marjorie in High to High in 1985 when she was 59 years old. Marjorie is a light-hearted, somewhat ditzy holiday guest at Maplins, who adds a cheerful and relatable energy to the show's portrayal of British summer culture. With her big smile, quirky expressions, and warm demeanor, she captures the spirit of older guests looking to reclaim a bit of youth and joy at the seaside camp. Gianne Mockford played Marjorie with a mixture of whimsy and comic timing, showing how even minor characters can leave a lasting impression. Whether lost in a dance routine or chatting obliviously through the mayhem, she made Marjorie feel real and charming. In real life, Gianne Mockford had a varied career across British film, television, and theater. She was especially known for her role as the hilariously stern Ammonia in Up Pompeii and continued acting well into her 80s. She became a regular face on British TV, admired for her versatility and warm presence. She passed away on November 16, 2018, at the age of 92 from natural causes after several years of declining health. John D. Collins portrayed the bailiff in High to High in 1982 when he was 40 years old. The bailiff in High to High appears during one of the show's humorous yet chaotic storylines involving financial mishaps. With his calm yet firm approach, he delivers unfortunate news with stoic professionalism, creating sharp comedic contrast against the panicked reactions of the Maplins staff. John D. Collins brought authority to the role while still maintaining a light comedic touch, turning a brief appearance into an amusing highlight. John D. Collins is best known for his recurring role as RAF Flight Lieutenant Fairfax in the beloved sitcom Allo Allo, where his character was one of the two stranded British airmen speaking exaggerated franglais. His performances in British television during the 1970s and 1980s solidified his reputation for sharp comedy delivery. He also appeared in Doctor Who, The Bill, and numerous theater productions. As of 2025, John D. Collins is 82 years old. Michael Lees portrayed Inspector Phillips in High to High in 1986 when he was 59 years old. Inspector Phillips appears as a no-nonsense figure of authority whose arrival at Maplin's holiday camp often disrupts the usual lighthearted mood. With a stern demeanor and firm voice, he brings a dose of bureaucratic realism to the otherwise whimsical world of yellowcoats and entertainers. Michael Lees brought gravitas to the character, portraying Phillips as both comically rigid and subtly exasperated by the camp's eccentricities. His sharp performance elevated a supporting role into a standout moment of dry humor. In real life, Michael Lees had a steady career in British television and film. He appeared in many classic British programs such as The Professionals, Z Cars, and Doctor Who, often portraying inspectors, doctors, and other professionals. He was admired for his dependability and character work across a wide range of dramas. Michael Lees passed away on June 15, 2004, at the age of 76, after a long battle with cancer. Michael Robbins portrayed Roger in High to High in 1988 when he was 58 years old. Roger, a guest at Maplins, is portrayed with a familiar mix of grumpiness and quiet exasperation. Michael Robbins delivered the character with his trademark dry wit and subtle frustration, giving the role an instantly recognizable feel. Roger likely represents the disillusioned holidaymaker, displeased with the entertainment, irritated by the noise, and wishing for a more refined experience. Robbins's comic timing and ability to portray the put-upon man with authenticity made Roger a brief but memorable part of the show. Michael Robbins was a beloved British actor, best known for his role as Arthur Rudge in On the Buses. His work in comedies, sitcoms, and stage made him a familiar face on British television for over 2 decades. He also appeared in films and various dramatic roles during the 1970s and 1980s. He passed away on December 11, 1992, at the age of 62, from prostate cancer after a period of illness. Who is your favorite character from High to High? How do you feel knowing that some cast members are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated. We appreciate your support and are glad to have you as part of our community.